My brother asked me if he could bring his girlfriend as A+1 to my wedding, but he is married to my sister-in-law and has a son. I told him hell no, and he says I'm being unfair because his marriage is basically over and he's single now. Posted by you/ThrowBirdiezilla? I, 30F, am getting married in a couple of weeks, and our siblings are in the wedding party. My sister and fiancé's sister are my bridesmaid/maid of honor. My brother, 36M, is the best man. We siblings get along great. My fiancé, 34M, is my childhood friend and my brother's best friend. My brother's wife, sister-in-law, doesn't get along with my family, and we've had several fights. She has been very snooty with our family because she comes from a wealthier background. She has been rude to my parents, said mean things to my sister's kids, and wouldn't let my brother visit the family over the holidays because she didn't want to. The list is endless. My brother has always defended her and even fought with the rest of the family for her. My parents try to keep things civil for the sake of the family. It's just sad. So obviously, I didn't make my sister-in-law a bridesmaid, but she was invited as a guest. I even texted her to say I hoped we could put our differences aside and come together as a family on my wedding day. She texted back thanking me for the invite and telling me it would be too hard for her to attend with everything that had happened and that she couldn't pretend. I thought it was typical of her and didn't give it much thought. Yesterday, my brother called me and asked if he could bring A+1 to the wedding. I asked if he meant his wife. But nope, turns out he and my sister-in-law have been separated for a few months because their marriage has been on the rocks. I think there was some infidelity on his part as well, because he wanted to bring his new girlfriend to my wedding. I said hell no. I have never met this new woman and don't know how long it'll last. And he's still married to my sister-in-law and has a child with her. I just don't think it's fair to her or a nephew to be replaced just like that in a family gathering. My nephew won't be attending the wedding, but I'd like to show him the pictures later. How would it make him feel? So I said no. My fiancé and brother both think it's unfair because he's the best man and deserves A+1. He claims his marriage is basically over and he's single now. But I'm standing my ground. So, am I a bridezilla? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. The new girlfriend is gonna have to sit this one out. If you didn't know they were separated, neither will anyone else, and that's way too much drama for a wedding. Ops response. Exactly. I'm 90% sure he cheated behind my sister-in-law's back and she's the affair partner. Timelines don't add up and my brother is being evasive about it. Commenter 2. Does your sister-in-law know about this woman? Ops response. No idea, haven't spoken to her since. Commenter 3. Could all that had happened that makes her unable to pretend be the failure of their marriage? Ops response. Maybe. I didn't make the connection then. A lot of other stuff had happened before that. Our last family gathering also ended in a big fight and my parents walking out of their house in tears. She has problems with our family culture, language, etc. In an ideal world, she would have whisked my white passing brother away from his family and made him a part of her world. She hated it that he wouldn't cut off his family and even tried to teach his son our language. But she changed her last name to my family's last name, so I don't know if she really hates our culture that much. She is a confusing woman. I hate that woman, but it doesn't justify what my brother is doing. Why does Op think the brother cheated? Thanks, but I'm not assuming out of thin air. He said a few things that make it apparent that he either cheated on my sister-in-law or dumped her so that he could start dating this new woman. Just 3 months back, my sister-in-law attended a family gathering as his wife. There's no way she would have done that if they were already separated. Commenter 4. Nice to know your fiancé condones cheating. This is asking for trouble if the woman attends. Op's response. He doesn't. He's giving my brother the benefit of the doubt. He learned of the separation at the same time I did. Commenter 4. Then he isn't intelligent. How could he not get that if nobody in the family knew about the separation and he already had a new girlfriend? There was some cheating. At the very least, he doesn't care about what the sister-in-law and nephew are going through. It speaks volumes about his character. Can you imagine your husband bringing a date to a wedding when you are barely separated, spending time with a family who doesn't even like you? I feel for your sister-in-law. Compassion is free. A wedding isn't a place to broadcast your affair partner. This is plain gross from all sides. Op's response. Yes, my fiancé is being a dumbass about this because he sees no point in antagonizing my brother over someone we all dislike. I'm also worried that this is what the kid is going to hear about how his dad's family treated his mom. Gross. I wouldn't like it if my mom was treated that way. I won't let it happen. Update 1 day later. I spoke to my fiancé. He admitted he's finding it hard to feel bad for my sister-in-law because she has been so horrible to us, and apparently, my brother has been miserable for several months. But he agreed that the cheating part was wrong. My fiancé agrees that I have a right to be mad and disappointed in my brother. But obviously, we're not going to cut him off for his poor choices, we never did. He's an idiot, but he's our idiot. My fiancé said he saw no point in getting off on the wrong foot with a new girlfriend because what if she's nice and this relationship lasts? I told my fiancé I was open to getting to know my brother's new girlfriend in the future if she's still around then, but not like this and not right now. My brother needs to get his crap together and finalize the divorce, custody, and co-parenting arrangements first. He needs to clean up his mess before creating new ones. My fiancé says he's in a difficult position because his other groomsman is also bringing a date, who we've never met before. But that guy was never married, not a part of my family, and his date's presence will not create any drama. So this situation is different. So now we've agreed that we won't invite my brother's girlfriend to the wedding because it would be inappropriate. I told my fiancé he can tell my brother that I, his sister, made this decision in my family and my nephew's best interests. I'm ready to be the bad guy. That way, he can save his relationship with his idiot of a best friend. As for me, I'll deal with my idiot of a brother later. Right now, I don't want to talk to him. Second update 2 years later. Hello, it has been 2 years, and I was just reminded of my previous post. So here's an update. My wedding took place as scheduled in a beautiful historic church. I'm not religious, but even I must say that the ceremony was beautiful and emotional. My brother attended as best man but without A+1. My parents found out what was going on and wouldn't let him set foot in the church with another woman while still married. My now ex-sister-in-law and nephew didn't attend either. I was a little sad about my nephew not attending, but I sent him his thank you gift. We learned more about why my brother's marriage imploded, and it makes me so sad. It was because of religion. My parents had organized a baptism for my nephew as per Catholic tradition, and my ex-sister-in-law didn't want it because she is not Catholic. Added for clarity, nobody told my parents at that time that my ex-sister-in-law had an issue, they thought she was on board. My parents had no reason to suspect this would ever be an issue because my brother and ex-sister-in-law got married in a Catholic church, the same one I got married in. But it turns out she was cool with it at that time because it was a beautiful historical church, and she thought it was romantic. She had different feelings about the baptism. My brother mishandled the whole thing and made this baptism his hill to die on. Ultimately, it was my stupid brother's fault and failure to communicate, but our entire family got blamed for being pushy. If either of them had told this to my parents, they wouldn't have suggested that my nephew be baptized. Added for clarity, in my culture, grandparents host and pay for the baptism party, it's a big deal. So my parents wanted to know if they needed to set money aside and start planning it. The child's parents are supposed to speak with a priest and do the religious parts. That never happened because my brother's marriage had imploded at that point. My parents are not bigoted or intolerant of other faiths. My other brother and sister-in-law are raising their kids Jewish, her mother's religion. My parents were totally cool with it because they were clear about what they wanted for their children. My brother has since divorced my ex-sister-in-law and married the woman he was dating at that time. My new sister-in-law is actually quite nice, gets along with the family, and is a good stepmom to my nephew. My brother has joint custody. I hope he doesn't mess up this marriage too. For what it's worth, she's an observant Catholic, so religion at least won't be an issue this time. My parents have told my ex-sister-in-law she will always be a part of the family as my nephew's mother, and she is welcome home anytime. She wants to keep her distance though, and I totally understand why. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Your brother was trying to find a justification to implode his marriage. He used your nephew as an excuse while creating a situation where he wouldn't be the only one to blame. In this case, he dragged your naive parents into it while also framing your ex-sister-in-law as stubborn. You are giving your jerk of a brother too much grace. Ops response. My brother was a jerk for how he handled several things, but she had her own issues. She was racist to our family, hated that my parents were working class, and always had mean things to say about them because they speak English with an accent. On one occasion, she even threatened to call ICE on my dad in anger. He's not undocumented, she was just being a bully. Commenter. Your description of her in this comment doesn't match how you described her previously. And why would your parents be so nice to a racist bully? I'm confused. Ops response. Oh, we all tolerated her only because my brother was so much in love with her, and we wanted them to be happy. We all wanted to have a relationship with their child. My parents wanted their son to be happy, and if tolerating his racist wife was what it took, they decided to put up with it. She apologized for the ICE comment, though, and they forgave her. Commenter 2. So they broke up because she wouldn't do Catholic things, so he committed adultery, breaking one of the 10 Commandments, with someone who is Catholic? Okay. Religion confuses me, the way people pick and choose what matters and what doesn't. Ops response. He is a self-proclaimed atheist. It's weird that he was so hell-bent on raising his child Catholic. My parents are Catholic but don't dictate what their grandchildren should be. Commenter 3. Okay, I'm really trying to follow along with this and had to read your original thread to get the timeline straight. You were wondering if you are a bridezilla for not allowing your brother to have A+1 at your wedding. Your parents refused to allow your brother to bring another woman to the church because he was still married to wife 1, no Catholic annulment. Your brother is now legally married to wife 2, courthouse wedding, but they were actively engaged in an affair at the time of your wedding. Your brother and wife 1 divorced because she didn't want a Catholic baptism, and your brother made it his hill to die on, despite being agnostic and already having wife 2 lined up. Wife 1 isn't a very good Christian. Wife 2 is a good Christian. Now, from the info in your first thread, it was you who declined his +1. Your brother had an affair, used the baptism as his reason for a divorce, and just announced that his marriage was pretty much over anyway, but he'd just sub in the replacement for your wedding. No one thought that was a good idea. He can't get married in the church again because, in the eyes of the church, he is still married to his first wife. Your parents seem to be the arbiters of the family. Everybody seems to be sitting in judgment of everyone else. Your previous post has a very different spin than this update. That post gives a lot more background to a very different family dynamic, and your update feels like a sanitized version. For example, your judgment about wife 1's reason for declining to attend your wedding is unkind at best. I think the +1 or not isn't even the issue here, so I'm just going to go with, everyone is a Zilla here. Ops response. Well, I'm sorry for sounding unkind, but she is a racist, so my empathy is limited. Here's a TLDR, we all don't like my ex-sister-in-law for a host of different reasons: racism, classism, being rude about our language and culture. Having said that, my brother cheated on her, and there was no justification for what he did, no matter how terrible their marriage was towards the end. Though I hated her, I understood and supported her reasons for not attending the wedding of her cheating husband's sister. My brother was not allowed to bring his then-affair partner to the wedding because that would have been gross on many levels, religion aside. I just wish my nephew could have attended, but again, that was the parents' call. Separately, we learned later that this stupid baptism episode is what led to their marriage imploding. I still think my brother was to blame here because 1, a baptism that his wife didn't want was an insane reason to break up over, and 2, cheating is wrong. If he had broken up with her over her being mean and racist to his family and threatening to call ICE on our dad, I would have understood. Still, I wouldn't have supported the cheating. My parents are really not the arbiters of the family unless we involve them for their guidance or to resolve sibling disputes. I had to tell them what my brother was up to because I didn't want them to have a rude shock on my wedding day. I also needed the rest of the family to support my decision to not invite his affair partner to the wedding while he was still married to my ex-sister-in-law. Finally, the affair partner is now his wife, and she is actually quite nice. It still doesn't justify the cheating.